This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
It is the After Party live on a Waterfall Wednesday. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your patience as well. Lots to talk about with the Mark Thompson Show and Mark's Madness and how it's all going. So it's kind of exciting. Are you guys doing your voting? Which ones do you think will go all the way? I have slipped down in the brackets to 6. So I'm kind of way down there. I don't think there's any way I'm going to win it, but it's fun to participate nonetheless. The party is starting. Thank you, Sandy. Hi, Rhonda. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everyone contributing to this show who helps keep it on the air, on the YouTube, as it were. The $5 from Wes came flying through today. Thank you, Wes, for the contribution. Nancy V with a contribution as well. Sue-Ann, kicking in $10 as well. Jim with a 5 and Joyce with a 10. So thank you guys so much for helping to keep this show rolling. Every bit helps, and it's just the kind of the nature of the beast with YouTube shows that it's all crowdfunded, and that's the way that it has to be. So the PayPal information is in the show description and in the About tab. I'm happy to see that Teacher Lori's GoFundMe is raising money for her cat's surgery. So that's very cool. Rhonda forgot to vote, fell asleep. Oh no. Yeah, go vote. Definitely participate in that. Calvin says participate. Absolutely. I did not get your Hawaii picks, so I will have to go look for them. Perhaps we'll share them another time. Let's go into the stories, because first I have a couple of really cool animal stories for you guys today. And one of them is about sleepy bears. Yeah, they're so cute. They're so cute when they're sleeping, not so much when they're coming at you. Speaking of brackets, a bear napping bracket. It's called March Napness. And I apologize. I think I'm getting sick again. Here it comes again. So if I'm stuffed up, I am stuffed up. I apologize for the sound. But March Napness 2025 is underway. You pick the bears you think are the most sleepy, right? That it will hibernate the longest. And it tracks this game, the bracket, the hibernation habits of bears that are in this sanctuary. It's a March Madness style bracket tournament tracking when bears at sanctuaries across Europe will wake up from their hibernation. It's run by a group called Four Paws. They operate animal sanctuaries across the world. And they've got this bracket of 23 European brown bears living at these 6 sanctuaries, number 6 sanctuaries in Europe. And the sleepiest bear wins. The bear that remains sleeping for the longest is crowned king or queen for that year. And a bear is kicked out of the bracket after waking from hibernation and remaining active for at least 5 days. When animals, especially bears, hibernate, they can actually wake up from time to time. They can wake up, get out of their den, walk around, maybe have a snack, and then go right back to sleep. All of the bears in March Napness, were rescued from captivity. They are unable to return to the wild for whatever reason. They are more reliant on humans than other bears would be. So they say some bears prefer to make their own dens in the sanctuary. Some prefer ones that humans have done all the work. So they're like, the quote is, they're like, thank you for my bed and good night. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes with March Napness. I have not participated in this, but it sounds fun. Here's another interesting story. They being scientists, marine scientists specifically, have the first known recording of sounds from a rig shark. It's very interesting. These juvenile rig sharks kept in the lab between May of 2021 and April of 2022 were kept so that scientists could better understand the crackling noises that they make. And I have the sound I thought we could listen to it together. I have not listened to it yet. Here's what it sounds like. Oh, hold on. I think I've gotten it wrong here. Oh, I'm screwing it up already. Oh no. Let's stop that screen and we'll start this one. Okay. So here's what it sounds like. Hopefully this is good. Hold this for this. You can hear the clicks. There's a big click coming up. So why do they make those clicking noises? What's going on with that? What's the story there? Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Here comes a big one again. Fascinating. So that's what they wanna know. Why do these sharks do this? Why is this happening? And they say at first they had no idea what it was because sharks aren't supposed to make any sounds. And they remember thinking how weird the sounds really were. It's a weird audio clip that was captured at this marine lab in New Zealand. And again, it's in the lab. They don't know what happened there. This rig shark is a small species that lives off the coast of New Zealand. And to their knowledge, the scientists that recorded this in the lab, it is the first to show that sharks can produce sounds. They published a paper in the journal Royal Society Open Science suggesting that these audible noises play a bigger role in sharks' experiences than scientists had previously imagined. The scientists say sharks have sensory systems that are more refined than the hearing, like electroreceptors, their smell, and the way they can propel themselves through the water. This, according to researchers at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. But they think this original notion that they had that sound isn't important to sharks might not be so true after all. They heard the sounds by accident, noticing that these rig sharks would start to make this clicking, chirping noise when she handled them in between tests in the lab. And when she first heard the thought, this scientific researcher, she said it sounded like electric sparks. They had no idea what it was at first because, again, the sharks are not supposed to be making sounds. So, studying now has moved on to the sound. As the sharks were moved through these tanks, they started making these short clicking sounds. But the noises were really, really loud. Their volume reached above 155 decibels, which is comparable to a shotgun. The clicks were mostly single pulses, but about a quarter happened in pairs. 70% of the sounds were accompanied by a calm, swaying body movement. 25% of the sounds came with a vigorous thrashing of the head or body. The other 5% happened while the shark was still. But usually, right after being handled, maybe it was stress. The frequencies of the sounds, they say, are too high for the rig shark's hearing range. So they don't think the animals are emitting these noises to communicate with each other. And they don't know what the purpose of the sound is yet. It's too early to tell, they say, whether it's a response kind of like saying go away, whether it's their nervous system just firing off, which happens to make their teeth and jaws click. They don't know. They don't know. There are fish that use their swim bladder to make noise. It's a gas-filled organ that helps with buoyancy, and it allows the animals, the fish, to communicate, but sharks don't have that organ, so it can't be that. More research is needed. They're gonna try to figure this out, what these clicks are. Fascinating. There's the sound again. Yeah. Uh, let's move forward and talk a little bit about the Curiosity rover that is on Mars. Here's a better picture of it. You can see it on Mars there. Making some discoveries. Yeah. NASA's rover, the Curiosity, found the biggest known organic molecules on Mars. This is raising speculation about whether life was created billions of years ago on the red planet. The study, done by research scientists at France's National Center for Scientific Research in the Lab for Atmosphere and Space Observations in France, say the study proved that even today, by analyzing Mars samples, we could detect chemical signatures of past life if it ever existed on Mars. This is called the Cumberland sample. These are organic compounds that were drilled in 2013 from a 3.7 billion year old rock sample at Yellowknife Bay inside the Gale crater, where the rover has moved more than 20 miles since landing in 2012. It is a region thought to be an ancient lake bed where clay minerals, sulfuric nitrate, and methane compounds were found, and all of those things are needed to sustain life. They don't have a biosignature that indicates life was once present on Mars, but they do say that this scientific material is the best chance that they have to identify the remains of any life on Mars. And Curiosity detected this round, much larger organic molecule. Here's what they say at NASA. There's evidence that liquid water existed in the Gale crater for millions of years and probably much longer, which means there was enough time for life-forming chemistry to happen in these crater lake environments on Mars. They are ready to take the next big step, bringing samples from Mars back to Earth in order to settle this debate once and for all about whether life existed on Mars. The findings in this paper present the best chance they have seen for identifying the remains of life on Mars, according to John Eiler, who's a professor of geology and geochemistry at the California Institute of Technology. Sealing the deal, though, absolutely requires returning such samples to Earth to be looked at. So, we're getting closer to understanding more and more and more. I'll tell you. Pardon me for a cough break. My apologies there. Speaking of space, check this out. This is kind of being called it is being called a cosmic tornado. And it's all because of a lucky alignment and the James Webb Telescope unveiling this awe-inspiring celestial spectacle of a spiral galaxy interacting with a plume of dust and gas from a newborn star. NASA said in a statement it was a lucky alignment of these two unrelated objects. They say when stars are born, they often release powerful jets that carve dramatic trails through space. In this image, a young star's jet appears alongside a perfectly aligned distant spiral galaxy. Okay, that's really cool. It's called Herbig-Haro. It's located about 630 light years from Earth in the constellation Chameleon. I didn't even know there was one. The scientists call this the cosmic tornado because of its spiral-like appearance. The nature of this fuzzy object at the tip of the tornado remained a bit of a mystery, but now we know it's this galaxy. So how cool is that? Thank you, Julia. She just brought me something to drink because my throat's having a little bit of rough times.
Mr. Evil just texted me.
Oh, pardon me. Pardon me for school update. Yes?
Mr. Evil texted me while I was gone. Apparently, he brought in a professional saxophone player to come work with the sax section today.
Oh, wow.
But he didn't tell us about it ahead of time, so I missed it.
Oh, no.
Cool.
Oh, it's all about music. That's exciting, though. Professional saxophone players coming in to see help the band. We like that. Pardon me for the interruption. NASA, though, is calling this image an extraordinary cosmic coincidence. They say it's one of the most remarkable images ever captured by the James Webb Telescope. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Somebody, you gotta love these people that take it upon themselves, go on in, fix things that need a fixin'. Sometimes you drive past or you look at the same thing over and over again, and you think to yourself, why doesn't someone take 5 minutes and get that thing done? This guy from the UK is now a hero on social media because he went into a McDonald's and repaired this sign that apparently people on Facebook were complaining about in this Facebook group called the Dull Men's Club. This is what they're worried about at the Dull Men's Club. They were posting about this sign at a McDonald's in Leeds, England, because the D was missing its inside. You can see here the O next to it has a little white, the inside of the O is painted white, and the inside of the D was left naked nudie. So it was more like a silhouette than it was a letter. And apparently this offended a lot of people. So this guy went and he fixed it. Now the D's white inside too. That looks so much better than the D being naked, doesn't it? I don't know how Mr. Steve Lovell, who took it upon himself to correct this issue, did this 3D print of a filling for the D. He said he ended up going through the process a second time when it turned out that another McDonald's sign at the same location had the same annoying problem. His post about the fixes went viral on this social media site, and he's being called a hero. He said, they say he's too interesting to be in the Dull Men's Club. He might not be a member much longer. Lovell told the BBC, I think it's the whole pointlessness of this that's caught people's attention. Not many people would notice a sign missing bits from it, and fewer still would be bothered by it, and practically no one would at all would bother to spend time and effort actually fixing it. His efforts were celebrated by the shopping center where this McDonald's is located. They gave him a certificate, joking around that he's the employee of the month. Thank you, Steve, they said, our March employee of the month for your selfless work. We're loving it. He said his actions weren't about helping the company or getting attention for himself. He said the fix wasn't even the benefit of McDonald's, as some people claim. It was for me and anyone else that would have noticed. Sharing it was just about the mundane absurdity. He's got a lot of time on his hands to go fix the McDonald's sign, but might as well do a good deed. That's funny. If you're wondering, and I know you are, what the best diet of all is, it's the Harvard diet. This should come as a surprise to no one. The Harvard diet is the clear winner for good health, according to researchers. Looking at how people should eat in middle age to protect their health as they grow older, scientists did a 30-year-long study that involved more than 105,000 men and women and 8 diets. They reported their findings in the journal Nature. People whose dietary pattern more closely stuck to the alternative healthy eating index in middle age had the greatest likelihood of good health in their 70s. Those with the highest alternative healthy eating index score had 86% better odds of healthy aging at 70 and were 2.2 times more likely to be healthy at the age of 75. So, the Harvard diet centers on a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, legumes, healthy fats, low in red and processed meats, sugary drinks, sodium, and refined grains. I mean, so this is just more of what we're hearing, right? We already know this. Red meats are not healthy for you. Processed meats are not healthy for you. Sugary drinks are horrible for you. Sodium and refined grains don't do a lot for you either. It's all about fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, legumes, and healthy fats. That's it. Research says the findings suggest these dietary patterns rich in plant-based foods with a moderate inclusion of healthy animal-based foods may promote overall healthy aging and help shape future dietary guidelines as well. The research done by University of Copenhagen and the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health as well. Harvard researchers created this diet in 2002 as an alternative to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Healthy Eating Index, and that measures how well people's diets stick to the federal dietary guidelines for Americans. Now, both of them are similar, but the Harvard diet is more oriented toward reducing the risk of chronic disease. So, and of the 8 diets looked at, this one rose to the top. 30 years of follow-up they did. Nearly 9,800 participants, more than 9%, reached the age of 70 free of major chronic disease and with their cognitive, physical, and mental health intact. They say adhering to one of the healthy diet patterns was linked to overall healthy aging, including maintaining better cognitive, physical, and mental health. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? Yeah, I agree. So it turns out glass is not good for the environment. I would have thought if you told me plastic wasn't good for the environment, I would have been not surprised. But apparently, glass is not the best either. And so, for a while, there have been people looking for alternatives to glass. Apparently, glass is one of the most environmentally troublesome components in construction projects. It's not naturally biodegradable. It's sometimes can be difficult to recycle. It's sometimes more harmful to the environment than even plastic. Who knew? So checking all these eco-friendly updates to glass making has been one way that researchers have been trying to find an alternative. But they're now testing how to replace it with chemically modified wood. In the modern day, plastic is everywhere, according to the Kennesaw State University chemistry professor involved in this research study, including in the devices that we carry around. And it's a problem when we reach the end of that device's life. It is not biodegradable. And so Bharat Barua says, who is also a woodworking hobbyist, wondered if his pastime's principal material could actually serve as a viable glass replacement. Wood, you think, is not see-through, right? That's where the chemistry came in. Wood consists of 3 main components: cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. But if you take out the 2 latter parts from a sheet of wood, what's left is a paper-like porous web of cellulose. They had to put balsa wood into a vacuum chamber with chemicals, including the agent sodium sulfite, a type of lye, and a diluted bleach to get this done. The inspiration for this came from buildings in northeastern India. The buildings there have stood for centuries thanks to an ancient form of cement made from mixing sand, sticky rice, and egg whites. So Barua thought applying the same ingredients to the balsa cellulose could harden and reinforce it enough to use it in a small test construction. So that's what they did. They changed a wooden birdhouse to put in a small little window. They put the birdhouse under a heat lamp, and then they cooled it down, and it looked like it was an energy efficient alternative, this little window. Yeah, not ready to be installed just yet. But again, it's made of eggs, sticky rice, and transparent wood. So perhaps that could be the windows of the future. They have some work to do. It's kind of yellowish. We'll see if they can get it right. Fascinating. I didn't realize that glass was such a problem. Something else that could be coming our way in the future, a folding Apple Watch. I was thinking about this last night as I was going to bed, and I had my cell phone on the little charging stand next to me. And I wanted to look at my phone, and there was no reason for me to look at my phone, none. And I thought, I am so addicted to this thing. I just want it next to me, near me, on me all the time. And that's how I look at these Apple Watches. And I know there's a lot of great things about Apple Watches. The health benefits from them, right? My mom has one. If she falls, it will automatically call 911. There are so many good things about this. But what better way to actually have your phone strapped to your body than this folding Apple Watch? And here it is. A patent has been applied for by Apple for this, basically what's a phone that you unfold for the new Apple Watch. It would allow users to access many of the functions which they normally rely on their smartphone for, and it would enable you to go phoneless for extended periods of time, as if you can't do that right now, right? The application for this patent reads, many individuals already forego the use of a smartphone during exercise or periods of recreation and instead use a smartwatch. However, current wearable electronic devices are limited in terms of screen size and functionality relative to their smartphone counterparts. So this folding version, pardon me, with its larger internal display, allows the wearer to more easily browse the web and social media, play games, send messages from your watch. I mean, did you see this coming? First, it was just to watch the help connect to our phone, right? So when we were on the exercise bike, we could still see texts coming through, what have you. Now it's our whole phone strapped right to our body. Is this the precursor for when they're going to implant this as chips in our eyes? You know, first it was strapped to us. I don't know. Do I need to go in the chat? Am I missing something? I'm done with the smartwatches. I always have my phone anyway. Yeah. Right? Just when I need something else to break, says Nullifidian. Truth. Yeah. Sandy says Kim's going to read through the chat later and she's going to be like, bottom feeders. Okay, now you piqued my interest. I will go back and look at the chat. Absolutely. I always read it back anyway. Mindy says, I love my old-fashioned watch. Love antiques. Rev says, yeah, just stick the damn chip in my brain and display a lens in my eye already. That's what it feels like to me, Rev. Absolutely what it feels like to me. Hold on, I'm going to open my LaCroix. Totally what it feels like to me. It's just a precursor for how close they can get this phone into you so that you can't separate from it. I'm telling you, last night I was like, why do I just feel like I want my phone next to me? And it was already next to me on the nightstand, but I wanted it like next to me on the pillow, next to me so that my hand could just reach out and grab it. Clearly a problem, right? I had to make myself not touch it. I didn't. I was proud. I'm very proud. But now they want to just strap it to you. I'm telling you. Rev is turning into the Borg. Yeah. Crazy. Cameo says, I don't think I'm official enough for a folding Apple Watch. People are way too addicted to smartphones. It's true, Vanessa. I'm telling you, I read books on my phone. Right? I've always got it near me in case one of the kids texts. I'm always looking up news for Mark's show, for this show, all these things. Oh, I'm telling you. So now we've got this folding Apple Watch. Here it comes. It's got an integrated camera, one facing outward, the other facing inward, just like your phone. It would allow you to snap pictures, to make video calls. The display could be folded away for portability, with essential information like time and weather and health data displayed on the smaller exterior screen. The patent application explores other ways of extending and compacting the display through the sliding, pivoting components, although most of the drawings show a hinge mechanism. I don't know. They're gonna do this, and everyone's gonna want this, and then we're all gonna be totally connected 24/7. Not like we aren't already, but this is just another step toward it's strapped to your body. That's it. It's on you always, right? I'm making a deal with myself today, and I'm accountable to you because I'm saying it here on the show that I am going to put my phone down for 1 full hour today, and I will not look at it for 1 full hour. I'm doing it today. I feel like I need to wean myself off of it a little bit. It's crazy, crazy, crazy time. We know that climbing Mount Everest is incredibly dangerous, right? A lot of people try it, never make it. They found this guy's body. He was one of the first. His name is Sandy Irvine. Andrew Coman Sandy Irvine. He went by Sandy. He disappeared alongside George Mallory in 1924 while trying to climb Mount Everest. And now his remains have likely been found. Found, by the way, by a National Geographic team during the filming of a documentary. And that has kickstarted discussions about whether or not this duo got to the summit before their deaths. Irvine was 22, Mallory 37. They were last seen in June of 1924 as they tried to become the very first people to scale Mount Everest. Now, though, it's unclear if they succeeded before what's being called an ill-fated descent. Mallory's body was found in 1999 by a climber. Irvine's whereabouts remained unknown until now. The recent discovery of what's believed to be Irvine's foot, still encased in a boot, sock stitched with his name, was made on the central Rongbuk Glacier below the north face of Everest. The boot, found at a lower altitude than Mallory's remains, suggests Irvine may have fallen farther down the mountain. The people who found it from the National Geographic said they lifted up the sock and there's a red label that has A.C. Irvine stitched right onto it. For decades, there have been historians and climbers, even Irvine's family, speculating about what happened to him. His great niece and biographer, Julie Summers, expressed her emotions upon learning of the discovery of this foot. When they told me they saw the name A.C. Irvine on the label of the sock and the boot, I found myself moved to tears. It was, and will remain an extraordinary and poignant moment. That's what she told The Guardian. The discovery has also reignited hope that Irvine's camera, known to have been with him, could still be recovered. And if it's found, it could have photographic evidence of them getting to the summit. And that could rewrite the history of mountaineering. The summit was officially reached for the first time in 1953 by Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, 29 years after Irvine and Mallory's expedition. So were they really the first to get to the summit or not? Fascinating. The discovery of the foot, they say, provides critical new evidence. The search for more artifacts, including Irvine's camera, continues. Any expedition to Everest follows on the shadow of Irvine and Mallory. This discovery, they say, has provided some closure for Irvine's family and the wider climbing community as well. So, it is one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in adventure history. Interesting if they find the camera, what they'll see. That would be fascinating. We can hope. Well, from that kind of morbid story to how about the lotto story of the day? I think so. Let's do it. This is a story about an oopsie, a wrong button pushed. This in Maryland. This guy bought the wrong lottery ticket. He hit the wrong button on a lottery ticket vending machine. He's from Edgewood, Maryland. Said he stopped at the Bel Air Wawa last week to buy a lottery ticket. It's a daily routine for him, does it every day. He said, I stopped at this lottery store on my way to work, like I do every day. Gas up the truck if it needs it, get some coffee, get a scratcher ticket. It's his morning routine. He said, I had a slip of the finger, pushed the wrong button on the lottery machine. He said, I was staring at my ticket, but for some reason, I hit the Monopoly button. The Monopoly times 20 ticket turned out to be a $50,000 winner. He said, I didn't notice the match at first, but when I did, I thought I saw 1,000 as the prize, which was fantastic, he said. I wanted to make sure that I'd really won $1,000 before I called my wife. When I saw the 50,000, everything got very still. He said, I didn't move. I stared at the ticket for a long time. He said, I think I stopped breathing. He is going to use this prize money to pay off his truck, give a boost to his savings account. Wouldn't that be nice? Wonderful. It is time for Waterfall Wednesday. And I do have a beautiful waterfall to share with you today. I did what we talked about yesterday, which is going back to Oregon. And the first waterfall I have to share with you is Multnomah Falls. Look how beautiful. They've built this perfect little bridge right there. Check that out. It is very busy. You can walk here in just a few steps. It's free. It's probably the most famous waterfall in Oregon. A lot of pictures taken of Multnomah Falls. The two falls are divided by this beautiful bridge, which creates this very picturesque scene. Steep cliffs, dense forest. They say it makes you feel like you're in some kind of prehistoric world far from the city of Portland, but it really isn't that far at all. There are 3 viewpoints. You can see it from the bottom, from the bridge, or you can take a more strenuous hike all the way up to the top. The view is best from the bottom, which is just a couple minutes from the parking lot. It's also, they say, worth going to this bridge where you get a close-up view of the upper falls and you can look down on the pool at the bottom of the lower falls, which is shaped like a heart. The walk takes about 5 minutes. It is uphill, but the path, they say, is very maintained. So kind of fun. Really beautiful. The next one is called La Tourelle Falls, and it is also made up of 2 falls. I have a picture of this one too. It's made up of 2 falls, and it's huge. There's the lower falls, which are huge, and then the upper falls, which they call smaller and perhaps a little more intimate, if you will. And here's a picture for you of this. That looks rather picturesque. Look at that girl sitting by the waterfall, just hanging out, loving it. The lower falls is the place for people that don't want the hike. The falls flow off the top of an incredibly steep cliff. You can take in the view from a path by the bottom of the falls, and it makes for a pretty dramatic video. The walk to the lower falls is easy, takes about 5 minutes. If you want to go up to the upper falls, well, that's a bigger walk for you. So, gonna take a while. But yeah, it's 35 minutes from the center of Portland, and it's beautiful. This next one is called Horsetail Falls. And again, it's also in Oregon. And it is maybe the easiest of the waterfalls in Oregon to see. It's visible right from a roadway. So you could just park on the side of the road and hop out of your car to see Horsetail Falls, and it's really, really beautiful. Here is a picture of Horsetail Falls. It looks really, really high. There it is. Look how beautiful that is. You can see, again, you can see it right from your car. Just hop out of the car. It's not as dramatic as some of the other waterfalls nearby, but a lot of people stop, take pictures, and then move on quickly. The parking here is really easy. It's 40 minutes from Portland and really close to Multnomah Falls as well. So, very cool. And then there's North Falls. And this one's pretty cool. I always love a waterfall that you can see from the underside, kind of get behind it, right? I have a picture of it. Yeah, here it is. North Falls. This is definitely a behind the waterfall shot. This one is part of the Trail of 10 Falls parking lot. So a lot of waterfalls in this area. And the North Falls are called one of the most dramatic falls on the Trail of 10 Falls. You can hear them roaring from a long ways away. This is a waterfall you can walk behind for a unique perspective, and the state park there has put in some benches if you want to take a little break as you're sitting behind the waterfall. You gotta love that. So that's pretty cool. You could take a little walk, you could go check it out and see that. The next one is called Tumalo Falls. This is another busy one, but it's a unique waterfall. They say this one, you can see it, you can hear it before you see it. It's super, super loud. That means it's got a lot of water rushing. So beautiful. And it's a kind of a big fat waterfall. It's not, you see this one that's very like thin. Check this one out. Yeah, that's a fatty. That's why you can hear it before you see it. This one, they have a fee of $5. It's free if you have a national park annual pass, but it is huge. It's called Tumalo Falls. And the first viewpoint is less than a minute's walk from the parking lot. They say if you want to see it from above, which is probably the better way to see it, it's about a 10-minute uphill walk to get there. But you can look down on a couple of different spots and great picture taking up there. Sometimes the snow begins to build up and parts of the waterfall freeze, which makes it feel even wilder. It's a 30-minute drive from Bend, Oregon. So that's pretty cool. This is another one that is kind of a spread out waterfall instead of a long, narrow plunge. And it's called the Lower Proxy Falls. And it's pretty nice to say. Very relaxing looking waterfall. Lower Proxy Falls. Here's what it looks like. Kind of more scattered over rocks that jut out. It's, they say, one of the most dramatic waterfalls in Oregon, flowing down a rugged cliffside into pools with fallen logs, rocks, and a fast-flowing river. It's surrounded by forest, and it makes for a fairy tale scene. There are ice patches and snow around the river in the fall and winter months, which makes getting down to this waterfall a little sketchy sometimes. And you might have to cross fallen trees and walk on slippery rocks. So we'll just look at the picture. How about that? Yeah, pretty special. I could see how it looks like you're in a fairy forest too. So that's Lower Proxy. And I also have a picture of Upper Proxy Falls. And this one really looks like something out of a fairy forest. Check this one out. Look at that. That's Upper Proxy Falls. So relaxing, isn't it? Can't you almost hear it just by looking at the picture? It's just beautiful. For the last one, we'll take a look at Tamalich Blue Pool. It's called a special spot. And I can see why. This is an area where there are multiple waterfalls, little ones though, that pour into this incredibly beautiful blue pool. And here's the picture of it. And you can see why I'm enchanted by this one. Look at that. You see the little waterfalls along the edge there? It's really pretty. The water has to be seen to be believed with an incredibly deep shade of blue. They say it's an otherworldly scene. You can go from the top there on a cliff area and look down on this pool and the waterfalls that feed it. You can cross over the top of the cliff and come down the other side if you want to get to eye level at the pool. But it can be a little slippery, so you have to be careful. It's about a 2-mile long walk in and out to get here, but it's a walk through the forest among tall trees and dense green undergrowth. Easy, but with a couple uphills, but still so, so beautiful. It's about an hour and a half from Bend, Oregon, down a dirt road. So that's pretty cool. Okay, I was going to end with a blue pool, but I think I might have to end with Tokiti Falls. Yeah. Tokiti looks pretty cool. It's rather dramatic as waterfalls go. And here's a picture of Tokiti. Check this out. This one looks like one you could hear before you see it as well. That's so beautiful, right? It's down from Umpqua Hot Springs. Tokiti Falls, a huge waterfall, tucked away at the end of a short hiking trail, which is fairly easy, though it has a few staircases. And there's a drop down to a viewing platform, which gives you a view of the falls from up above. The falls have carved a V shape into the cliff, and there's a pool at the top. It looks, they say, like you used to be able to walk down to the bottom of the falls, but you can't do that any longer unless you hop over a railing, which says no entry. So you don't want to go there. But how beautiful is that? It's about 30 minutes from Crater Lake National Park in the summer, an hour after that closer entrance closes in November. And they say it's a great activity to combine with a dip at Umpqua Hot Springs as well. So that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I was going to end with that, but now I can't. Now we have to go to Whitehorse. Okay, Whitehorse, and then we're done, I promise. I don't know about you, but I find this young woman to be quite brave. Maybe she doesn't mind falling into rushing water. And it is a cool photo op. There she is on fallen logs at a crisscross over Whitehorse Falls. There are crossing logs, as you see, that sit right in front of the falls. It's a popular spot for photographers. The bridge sits just above the falls, allowing you to look down on them for a great angle as well. 1-minute walk from the parking lot, this one, Whitehorse Falls. There are only 3 parking spots out here. Apparently, visits here are quick, and so it's worth waiting for a spot to open when you arrive. It's 10 minutes away from Tokiti, or Toketi, making it another place to visit along with Umpqua Springs and the last waterfall we looked at. So there you go. That's what we got for today. That, my friends, is the After Party Live. And thank you for hanging with me on a Waterfall Wednesday. And I know for people that are listening to the audio podcast and not the video, well, pardon my cough, that some of these are all very picture intensive. So you're kind of missing part of the story. But thank you for listening, however you're listening. Okay. That's the end of the show. That is Waterfall Wednesday. And again, thank you for sticking with me through it. Thank you to everyone contributing to the show. And today that does include Wes and Nancy V and Jim S. And Sue Ann, I think, was on the list as well, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back to my list of people who've contributed in the last 24 hours. Huge thank you to everyone who helps make that happen, really. Wes, Nancy V, Sue Ann, Jim, Joyce, M. Just thank you, you guys. Really, really appreciate your for helping me further the show and keep it on the air. I missed it last week, but YouTube tells me that this show has been on YouTube for 1 year. So that's pretty good. After everything, to keep pushing through and make it to a year, really proud of that. So thank you very much for helping me keep it. Blue Spark says, I was born in Klamath Falls, Oregon. How beautiful are the falls, you ask? There aren't any. Oh, there's no falls in Klamath Falls? Oh, no. What a great place to be from, though, right? Yeah. Uh, I can hear that one, right? Sometimes you look at the picture and you can really, really hear it. It's an uphill climb. That's right. It's where garden gnomes are born. Absolutely. So beautiful. My cousin said the blue pool is fantastic. Yeah, it looks amazing, doesn't it? Right. It's where the Keebler elves come from. The water looks really inviting. I wonder how cold it is. Probably really, really cold. Yeah. Yeah. Smurf pee. We'll go back to that picture because it was quite impressive. It's what it looks like. How pretty. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'll see you back here on YouTube tomorrow at 11 a.m. It's going to be great. John Rothman will be on the Mark Thompson Show, and it's going to be a great show. So please join us at 11 a.m. here on YouTube. And then, of course, it is a Trivia Thursday here on the After Party Live. And at 5 p.m. tomorrow, the Nikki Maduro Show. We're trying to get that up to 5,000 subscribers. So any and all clicks on the free subscription for the Nikki Maduro Show, and this one as well, really help us out. This one I'm looking to get 2,500. Nikki's looking to get 5,000. So hopefully we can make that work. Blue Spark with a $5 super sticker and a gorgeous picture of a snowy mountain in the background. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Really, really nice, that contribution. All right, everyone, make it the very best day, and I'll meet you back here on the old YouTube tomorrow. But for now, bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Yeah, Mo, it's the Harvard diet. I'll put a link to the story in the chat. How did I say it wrong? Tokiti. Thank you. I think I said Tokiti. Thank Yay, it's a podiversary. Thank you. Just talk fast. Give that presentation really quickly, Heather. They can get on over here. Oh, good luck. You're gonna kick it. You're gonna kill it. We love you.